Okay, so it's almost been a week since the first three episodes of Ironheart came out. And I want to go back and I want to kind of look at the whole controversy around this show. It's not even a controversy. The show didn't really do anything wrong. The issue is the community and the MCU fans specifically having a back and forth about whether or not people should like this show. Okay? Or whether or not this show is even good in the first place, right? Now, Isaiah, you might be asking, why do you have a black glove on? Don't even worry about that, bro. The real question is, how can we figure out a way to basically find out what people are saying? It's really simple. It's really simple. Okay? We're going to go through and we're going to break this shit down. Okay? We're breaking this show down. First, we're breaking it down. We're going through different platforms, see what people think, and we're going to figure it out. Okay? This is going to be a long video. So sit back, relax. I don't know. Put me on in the background. I don't know. Okay? Figure it out. This shit is serious, okay? Despite the fact that I'm um wearing glasses, don't let that distract you, okay? I don't use these glasses often, okay? I just need to be able to see the bullshit clearly. Okay, let's be real. Okay? So, for anybody who's not caught up on or like don't know the Ironheart synopsis or whatever, let me show you. Okay? Ironheart is an American television miniseries created by Chinaka Hodge. Okay? If you want to know what Chinaka Hodge looks like, there she is. There's Chinaka. Okay? She is a black woman. A black woman. For the streaming service Disney Plus based on Marvel Comics featuring the character of the same name. It is the 14th television show, yada yada. Okay, so MIT student Riri Williams returns home to Chicago following the events of the film Black Panther Wakanda Forever, pretty decent movie, where she covers secrets that pit technology against magic. Now, she is a basically a mechanical engineer. Okay, let's get that straight out the way. Okay, she is a mechanical engineer. Okay, her being a genius is that she is a genius of mechanical engineering specifically. She is not a genius in the broad strokes of things, okay? She is not some mathematical genius. Even though she is a mechanical engineer, there is much more to mechanical engineering than fucking math, okay? Same thing with Iron Man. Tony Stark is a mechanical engineer. He's not Reed Richards. Reed Richards is a different type of smart. Okay, there's different types of smart people. Okay, and different types of ways that geniuses and smart people can be shown in cinema. Okay, now next order of business. Okay, I want to go through these different websites and I want to look at the different opinions about this show. Right? We're gonna go through all of them. Well, not all of them. We're gonna go through, try to get through as many as possible to try to get like a different. I'm gonna try to get negative opinions, neutral opinions, and positive opinions. Okay, I'm gonna try to get all three. I'm gonna try. But obviously, these platforms is not gonna tell you which one's which, so you have to figure that out for yourself. Okay. Also, I'm looking at my camera while I'm looking at. Okay. So, with that being said, first things first. Uh, Rotten Tomatoes. Okay. So far, the critic review is 73%. That's good. this is one of the first times. This is a very rare time where the critics is actually right. But this is a personal opinion. My personal opinion. The critics are right here. But the audience, because the audience, here's the thing: the audience is completely dependent upon what's happening in the political spectrum right now, right? And it depends. It really does depend. And what I want to emphasize is, let's actually look at the reviews if I can get to them. Where did I put them? I literally just, I guess I just click on it. Top critics, 50%. It's half and half, right? All critics, more people say it's fresh and rotten, all right? I'm curious. Oh, wait, hold on. Wait. Where's the reviews at? Am I missing something? Don't they have written reviews on there? I'm tripping. Chat, chat, chat. What's going on? I'm not even live, but I'm literally. Okay. Well, they're not here yet. Maybe they turn them off. I don't know. But that's just this is what they're giving us on Rotten Tomatoes. Let's go to IMDb. Okay. IMDb. Now I'm biased, so I put 10 out of 10 because I wanted to. I need to boost. We gotta boost this show. Okay. I'm personally am biased. I'm gonna be real with you. Okay. I am biased. It's okay. It's okay to be biased. Um. So but I'm gonna try to take this whole video and I'm gonna try to be as like neutral and try to be as like realistic and not be biased as possible. Like seriously, because I think the show is great. It's not perfect, but I think the show is better than what people are saying it is. Right now, the IMDb rating so far, over 20,000 people have reviewed this. Right, and they said overall. So interesting thing here is that overall, 10,000 people have given it a 1 out of 10. That is weird. That right there is weird to me because there is no way you are going to. There's no way you look at this show, cinematography wise, acting wise, like set design wise, fucking music choice wise, and you're going to tell me that it's a 1 out of 10. Okay, something's going on here. That's giving me red flags immediately, personally, right? I will never give a show 1 out of 10 unless it is genuinely some of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. In the MCU, most of the stuff in the MCU is not a 1 out of 10. I don't care if you hate the main character. I don't care. She Hulk is not a 1 out of 10. She Hulk. Matter of fact, let's go to She Hulk. Let's go. Let's go to She Hulk. Let's see what She Hulk is. Let's go to the ratings in She Hulk. Well, there's more people reviewed it. 202,000 people. But 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10. Let's see what the reviews look like. Okay. Damn. So this is interesting, right? This is literally IMDb. This is the IMDb website. Purely the IMDb website. So the people on IMDb, I'm I, now I'm not sure what this means now because I don't think She-Hulk is a 1 out of 10. There's no way you looked at She-Hulk and thought it was a 1 out of 10. I think She-Hulk is better. I think She-Hulk is okay. I just don't like the writing of the main character. I don't like the way they portrayed the main character. But I think most of the show is fine. It gets along fine. The cinematography, the specifics of it is fine. But a 1 out of 10? I don't know. Let's go to Daredevil. Let's go to Born Again. Let's see what Born Again says. 8 out of 10. Interesting. Now, mmm, that's interesting. That's interesting. Much less 1 out of 10s. What about the original Daredevil? Probably higher, to be honest. Because the original Daredevil show was a lot better than the Born Again. But Born Again's still good. Don't get me wrong. Right. Okay. But there's more people that reviewed it. At least on the website, more people reviewed it because it's an older show, right? What's another show? What's another one? Anyway, here's the thing, right? I think what we need to do is we need to go into the comment section. We need to go and look at the comments, okay, of videos, right? So what I'm gonna do, there's this my video, right? My video actually had interesting some interesting things. So I made this video. It got 600 views. Thank you to everybody who watched it. But that's not really important. We're going into the comment section because I don't actually want to actively review these things and talk about it, right? So, wrong. Okay, so this is the first, basically the first comment that I got, right? So it says everyone is allowed to like what they like. I just don't understand what there is to like about this show. It's so bad. Okay. I'm not sure how I'm not sure how that I'm curious of what does he think bad is. Now, unless they have some amazing way to wrap everything up in the next 3 episodes, I just don't see it ending well. It's terrible writing, poor acting from the lead, unlikable main character. That's the same thing. Uh Not really, but you know what I'm saying. Semantics. Definitely not a genius who wrote this so-called genius character. I'm curious on what they think a genius is. I don't know. It's just really bad. Nothing to do with gender or race. Okay. Just a show and its writing. I'm glad you like it. Wish I could understand why. And then I responded. I said, "What do you want the MC to act like?" It's a genuine question. What do you want the MC to act like? A black woman who's queer and yeah, and she's like I feel like how I feel is that a lot of MCU fans don't really aren't used they aren't used to seeing a black woman who's queer who's also smart on the main forefront of a TV show, right? They're not. It's just foreign. I think it's just foreign to a lot of people, which is sad, but that's just the reality of the situation. I think the best comparison is Tony, in which he was unlikable in Iron Man 1, which was the point of his story, right? How is a genius supposed to act? There's no one way for a smart individual to act. I agree. I mean, I wrote it, so obviously, right? And then it said, "You are right." Somebody else responded. It says, "You are right. Poor writing is nothing new to the MCU. They're perfecting that craft." Poor writing. Now, I won't sit here and say that everything that the MCU has been doing since Endgame has great writing. I won't say that. But what I will say is that Ironheart is not one of them. Okay, you can argue that for She-Hulk. You can argue that for maybe Miss Marvel, not Miss Marvel, sorry, the Marvels, right? Or you know, any like Captain Marvel or something like that, maybe. But like even then, it's like, well, I'm not sure what you think good writing is, right? Now, This other person said Ironheart is an unlikable trash character. Okay, with the villain's origin story. I'm confused on why you like. Like it's so interesting to me because villain's origin story. How is she a how automatically she's a villain? How is she automatically just put into the villain category? People hated her in the comics. We're not talking about the comics. So I don't know why you brought up the comics. We're talking about the MCU version of Riri, and the show is even worse. Number one, how the fuck is the show even worse? How is the show? How is the show worse if in the comic books she became a character because she stole from Stark? The black community who was reading those comic books actively said, "What the fuck is this storyline for Riri?" They all actively was like, "So you're gonna introduce her by having her steal from somebody? That's weird." And she's the first, like one of the only like black heroes. There's very few black heroes in the Marvel comic books compared to white ones. Very few black heroes, and one of the few ones we get is Riri, and she's introduced because she stole from Iron Man. Yeah, it's a little weird. They didn't do that in the show. What did they do? She didn't steal from Iron Man. What she didn't even steal like the TV show is the group steals from rich people because we hate rich people. I thought we all agreed that rich people suck. I'm 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 confused. You can argue that for the comic books as well, but like at least it's like there she's not actively stealing from the character that's going to mentor her in the future. You know what I'm saying? Like she didn't actually steal from Tony. She didn't steal anything from Tony, right? So I just feel like it's just one of those things where you just kind of like you're giving her you're putting things on her that's not her. That's not Riri, right? You know, too immersed in the race baiting victim mindset. I don't understand this. As a black American, our whole life has been about our skin color. I'm confused. Like our whole existence here on as a black American is about the fact that we're a different skin color than everybody else. That's just been our reality. All of a sudden you're seeing it on TV and now you're upset that you're seeing it on TV. Whatever. Right. You're projecting. Okay. So I just feel like this is interesting because like villain's origin. I've been seeing this a lot in people's opinions about Riri. A villain origin story. How all of a sudden is she a villain? How is she all of a sudden a villain? Because she's like she has to start somewhere. Like her story has to start somewhere. Iron Man was selling stuff, bad stuff to people. He was selling weapons to his own country to make money from it. He was making weapons to fund a war. All of a sudden now it's a problem, and now all of a sudden he's just a goody two shoes. I'm yeah okay. So I'm not sure what movie he watched, but Ironheart is complete trash. There's that word again, trash. I found nothing good to say about this dumpster fire of a movie. It's not a movie. I didn't even read this the first time. A movie? It's not a movie. It's a TV show. It's a limited run TV show. 3 episodes. Where'd you get movie from? I'm pretty sure Disney is run by idiots who have no interest in being true to source material. I thought, okay, so this person want did did you want Riri to be the same as the comic book version? I thought people hated the comic book version. I'm confused. So, do you? want to see the comic book version, or do you not want to see the comic book version? Because if they show the comic book version, people are going to be upset about the comic book version and not the new one. So like, there's no win-win here. Like, it doesn't feel like there's a win-win in this situation, in this scenario. Like, you're saying this, you're basically saying this about every new, like, it feels like they're saying this about every new installment when it comes to like the new installments of the MCU movies or TV shows. They're not being true to the source material. I just, and if you watch my older videos about me talking about the MCU, you know how complex it is to how important it is to understand the complexities of understanding these characters. Okay, Wanda Maximoff is a character that people either hate or love. It is what it is. I don't think Wanda is the greatest character, but at the same time, she shouldn't have been taking this city hostage either. There's nuance to this. You know what's interesting to me? As soon as like women are being brought up in the MCU who have nuanced characters, all of a sudden now it's an argument. It's controversial because the lady is complex and has an actual personality. Like, I don't know. This movie is diarrhea sandwich and no one wants to do anything except this is a lie. A lot of people like this. It's number one. People have been watching it. It's number one in the Disney Plus thing. You can look that up, right? I have posted other videos about writing a genius. Okay, a genius doesn't typically ask questions they don't already know the answers to. So later on, this guy didn't even watch the fucking show. So like, I don't know why he's talking about it, but let's indulge, right? A genius doesn't typically ask questions they don't already know the answers to. What? A genius doesn't typically ask questions they don't already know the answers to. Okay, what's wrong with asking questions? Just because you're smart doesn't mean you don't ask questions. Why are you supposed to just know everything? Just because you're smart doesn't mean you know everything. I don't understand why that's the correlation. I get it if that's how characters have been written sometimes. I don't think that's a writing tool thing to do when it comes to smart characters. A smart character shouldn't just know everything. A smart character should be inquisitive and curious. So asking questions actually helps them be smarter. Like, that's the point of being smart, is that you're smart enough to know that you don't know everything. And Riri is like that. She doesn't know everything. She's going to try to figure it out. And she's smart enough to put two and two together and figure it the fuck out. That's the point. A genius is going to find clever and efficient ways to solve problems. And Riri didn't. I mean, Riri seemed to have figured everything out in pretty clever ways. I mean, she haven't been pushed to a point where she had to like really do anything super clever. You know what I'm saying? Like, but like most of the smart stuff she did was the AI that she made, and then the making the suit out of fucking, like, she's an engineer. She's a, what I say in the beginning of the video. She is an engineering. She's a mechanical engineer. Her genius comes from the fact that she can build shit. Her genius and her being clever and efficient is the fact that she can take shit from the scrapyard that somebody else bought for her. The guy, John, right? He came and he got the stuff and he bought the stuff for her because she didn't have the money. She was going to ask for pro bono. She was going to ask this guy, hey, can I just borrow this stuff? I'll pay you back later. Did you not watch the scene? This other people have been saying that she stole stuff to do her suit. She didn't steal to do her suit. Okay, she actually got money, and then she paid to do this. You know what I'm saying? So, the point is I'm trying to say is that just because what it's just because you think that this character should do something doesn't mean that that's actually what the character would do. Okay, her being smart is not your version of being smart. The culture is different, right? And I think that's what the issue is, because the cultural significance of Riri doing what she does is very specific to the culture of black women and black people in America in general, and specifically. A genius typically doesn't need to be told they are wrong. No, that's not. That's just wrong. That's just a wrong statement. What the fuck are you talking about? That's just a wrong statement. Tony Stark has been told he's wrong by Captain America literally every fucking time they have a conversation. Damn near every time they have a conversation. That's how Civil War started. Because Captain America thought that Tony was wrong. That's the whole point of Civil War. Did you not watch Civil War? They see the flaw in a failed experiment, correct the flaw, and do it right. You can't always see the flaw in the experiment, right? When you make an experiment, you're trying to figure out. You're trying to if it's a failed experiment, you're trying to figure out what went wrong. Doesn't mean you're going to see the flaw immediately. You're going to find out over time. Somebody else may have to tell you something, and then you put two and two together. The reason why somebody is a genius, if somebody is smart, is because they put two and two together. You're able to look at the bigger picture and see, oh, that's why it didn't work. Right? That's how Tony Stark figured out fucking time travel, because some person he met, I forgot what happened in that scene, but like he didn't figure out time travel simply because he sat there in his room all day ruminating about how to figure out time travel. Tony Stark had to go out there, talk to people, and then he got the idea from somebody else. And then he was like, "Oh, wait, I can use that for what I'm developing back at home." That's putting two and two together, using your fucking brain. Like, I'm confused. But yeah, they'll correct the flaw and they'll do it right. If it works, it's an experiment. It's not supposed to really work all the time. It's an experiment. You're trying to see if it works or not. If it doesn't work, sometimes the experiment just doesn't work because it's an experiment. You're not actually trying to, you know what I'm saying? Like, let me ask you. This person is saying, how have the writers demonstrated she is actually a genius? She can even solve her own problems. What do you mean she can solve her own problems? I'm confused. What do you mean she didn't solve her own problems? In the show, if you watch the show, if you would have watched the show, you would know this. But in the show, she had a problem that she in college. In college, she had a problem that she needed money. So what did she do? She started helping other students with their problems and they paid her. This is a real life thing that people do. People do this in real life. And college, and high school, and school in general. If somebody's smart enough to figure out your problem and you got the money to pay them to figure out your problem, why wouldn't you pay them for that? Like, I'm just I'm just confused as to like why you say she couldn't figure out solve her own problems. The whole point of the first three episodes is that she's trying to figure out how to get money. So she solved her own problem, right? By selling these ideas to people on campus. Then she got expelled for it, right? She got expelled for it because, the campus is like, you shouldn't be doing that. But, like, I'm confused as to, like, why. How is that not her solving her own problem? She just did that in the first fucking episode. Sorry, I shouldn't be using curse words, but it's really weird how, like, they didn't even watch the show. Okay, so she tries to excuse her own shortcomings by blaming it on a lack of funds. It was an offhanded comment. She was just saying if I had them, she was angry. She was upset. Like if I was trying to make an Iron Man suit or an iron suit, I would say the same thing. Like, man, if I just had the money that Tony Stark had, I would do the same thing. Matter of fact, she didn't even need the fucking money, right? The whole thing that people are saying against Iron Riri is that Tony Stark did this in a cave with a box of scraps, and Riri didn't. Riri did it at home with a box of scraps. What are we talking about? She literally made the suits out of a box of scraps that she got from a car part store in her home. What are we talking about? She built that shit at her house. What? What? Did you even watch the show? We were reminded that Tony Stark prototyped the arc reactor in a cave with the scraps. Cool. Yeah, he did. If Riri was actually a genius, she could have backwards engine. Did she not do that? Did she not do that in the show? Did you watch the show? Did you even? She basically, right? What she did, she already knew how to build a suit because she got grant money from MIT. She built an actual suit. She did that already. Matter of fact, she already had experience in building a suit because she was in Wakanda with Shuri. And Shuri was already smart enough to know how to build a suit. So they did it together. They both are geniuses in their own right. Right? Shuri and Riri. Shuri. Sorry, I had to say that. Shuri is that. Wait, wait. That might be a relationship that might happen in the future, but headcanon. Um, it like she did backwards engineer. That's the only way you could figure it out. That's what she did when they met her. She was building a suit already. She was literally in that garage building a suit on her own, trying to figure out how the fuck Iron Man did it. That's the whole fucking this. You know what this says? This shows that people that they did not watch Wakanda Forever. Either that or they forgot what happened in Wakanda Forever. Because if you watch Wakanda Forever, you would know that when they first met Riri, she was in that she was I don't even know what a bunker, I guess. She was in some giant bunker. She was trying to fix the car up, right? And she was also working on an Iron Man suit, on an iron suit. That's why. That's the reason why, but that was like a secret project she was doing. That was a secret. Nobody was supposed to know about that. But because Shuri and them needed her for something, they had to bust in there and help her out. And then they found out that she was making a suit. She was like, "Fuck it, I gotta try to use the suit because I'm trying to figure out how to use this. You know what I'm saying? She was trying to figure it out. She was literally backwards engineering the suit in Wakanda Forever. That's what she did. That's her story, right? And the fact that she was smart enough to even figure that out in the first place shows you everything you need to know. I'm confused. What are we talking about? In fact, can you tell me one heroic quality about Riri? One heroic quality. She wants to protect her family. That's pretty heroic, I think. Uh, she is having problems with the hood because they're going around doing this stuff and start killing people. She hurting people. People getting hurt. Even though the hood specifically said that they're not going to hurt people. And then the next episode, somebody got shot. So now Riri's upset. Why? Why did it have to get to this point? Right? People are dying from us doing this. Are you sure we want to keep doing this? Riri is having that conversation with the hood. Did you not? They didn't watch the show. They didn't watch the show. It's literally what this is telling me. You didn't watch the show. For all I've heard, he didn't watch the show. She committed academic fraud. What? I mean, on a technical sense, sure. Stole MIT property. No, she didn't steal MIT property. What she did is she took back her suit that she made with the grant money that she got. Grant money that if a college gives you grant money or any type of money when it comes to like scholarships and shit, that's your money. You can do what you want with that money. You can literally do what you want with that money. What the suit is hers. Outside of the fact that she had to connect it to the college's internet because she was making a suit inside the college lab, right? She had to connect it to the she had to make an AI and all that stuff. It was the colleges. It was like a dual ownership pretty much of the suit. And the only reason why she couldn't use the suit after she flew away with it was because the school shut down the AI. The AI literally stopped working because you know what I'm saying? Because she could what she could have done was not connected to the school. Now that's one thing that I will say that Riri shouldn't have done is that Riri shouldn't have uh made this suit and connected it to the school specifically. But the school probably forced her to do that because she's using the school's resources and stuff like that. That's it is what it is. Join a gang. It's not a gang. They don't call it a gang. They're vigilantes. They're basically vigilantes who have a morally gray history. It's almost like the Thunderbolts. Whoa, crazy. Start doing heists. Yeah, they're stealing from rich people and basically trying to expose them for the fucked up stuff that the rich people are doing. I don't see how that's an issue. Eventually, killing people. Yeah, that Riri literally had a conversation with the Hood about. Riri actively told the Hood, why the fuck are people dying in these heists? We're supposed to be in and out, and that's it. All of a sudden, people are dying. No, I don't want to be a part of this. Riri literally was talking about this with him. And he was just like, yeah, it happens. Like, what the? So Riri's having questions now because she doesn't want to kill people. Yeah, she's morally gray because she's okay with stealing people, but it's that's what she has to do to get what she wants. That's why she has um not Zeke, but Joe Zeke. You know what I'm saying? He's Ezekiel Stain. That's why she has Ezekiel Stain there because Ezekiel Stain is the guy who is trying to keep her on the morally good side. Be like, okay, but we need to like be real about this. There's so much you can do with this intelligence, right? And so much that he could do, and with this anyway. So I think the only moral complexity is mistaking her for a hero at all. Hmm. I just went over why that's not true. And it's 2025. You can untuck your junk. What? The fuck is he talking about? Natalie is prettier, charming, probably more moral, even as an AI. Yeah, that's the whole point. The whole point is that Natalie is the saving grace. She is literally the thing that is helping Riri stay on the good side, stay on the side of making sure she doesn't fall into the slippery slope of doing morally incomprehensible things. That's why in episode 3 she was so distraught about the shit that happened. People are dying. And she having a mental panic attack. She's having a mental breakdown right now. This is like what are we talking about? She's just more likable than Riri. Cool. If you like Natalie more, cool. Cool. You can do that. You can have that opinion. Nothing wrong with that. Okay. Next comment. As a white man, I speak for all whites when I say this. I hate that sentence. I don't like the fact that you didn't have to say that. You could have just talked about the show as the show. You didn't have to mention being white, but you did. I didn't say anything about white people hating this show, but or maybe I did. I don't know. I don't remember. Hold on. Yeah, I didn't say that the people who were bombing the show was white. I just said that they just don't like seeing a black woman as a main character. And I feel like that's getting painfully obvious now to me. But let's continue. Well, not race. I disagree. I think a lot of people, especially MCU fans, are really bad at they're not bad, but they're really good at saying that they don't care about race when 99% of their criticisms has to do with a cultural thing that is sadly like skin color based. It's a cultural thing, and it's a different culture that you're just not used to, and you're upset that the different culture is different, and you can't understand what's going on. It's like an alien language to them. It Ironheart is a Bori. You mean boring? Mary Sue type. She's not a Mary Sue. I would be upset if she was a Mary Sue. I don't think she is. I think she's actually not a Mary Sue personally because a Mary Sue in this situation would be her getting an Iron Man suit from Tony or just getting an Iron Man suit. She didn't get an Iron Man suit. She built that shit. She built it. She literally built these suits. She had 3 suits over the course of her career. She had the first suit in Wakanda. She had the second suit at MIT. And now she has the third suit that she made with a box of scraps in her home. She built all 3 of those. The first one was with the help of Shuri. The second one was with the help of MIT. But she still built that shit. She was the one who had the plans. She was the one who wanted to build the suit because she was smart enough to do it on her own in the first place in Wakanda 2. I mean, in Black Panther 2. She was already building the suit. She was already building the suit. She already had, well, technically she has 4 because she has the first one that was barely working, but it was working. It was working. She built her suit from a box of scraps. We don't even know where she got the scraps from, but she got it and she made it. See, that's what I'm talking about, bro. Dying 2016 message and most Westerners are tired of hearing. That just like, what is this sentence, bro? That's not even what the show is about. That's not even what Riri is about. Bring back good movies and TV. Stop with the slop. I hate this word slop. This word slop is pissing me off because people are running around calling everything blank slop. Use some better words, please. Go to a fucking dictionary. Sound like you got your opinions from Critical Drinker. Yeah, that's what Critical Drinker would say. This is exactly what Critical Drinker would say. This thing you need to stop drinking, bro. Like it's getting bad. Instead of standing up for the show and debating, like, dude. And then he was talking about Blade and I understand that you like, which is what makes me interesting because like this makes this really interesting to me because he's all of a sudden talking about the Blade script and and Ali, but like, what is all this? So I'm just curious as to like, I don't know. That's just like you're like, are you just you're okay? So maybe this guy is less of a problem, right? But he's still an issue because he's talking about this, and I think I don't want to put thoughts in his head, but what it feels like to me, and what my heart and what my gut is telling me is just like, it's the fact that it's a man, and you want to see a man do cool stuff on screen as opposed to a woman doing cool stuff on screen. But I don't want to put that in your mouth. But at the same time, you're talking about the Blade script, and I feel like the only reason why you're talking about the Blade script is because I'm black. Now, but I'm not sure if that's true. I could be wrong. So maybe he's just a Blade fan. That's cool. I love Blade. I think Blade is awesome. He needs a good movie. He deserves a good movie and a good TV show if he gets one. Same thing with Riri. All of a sudden, Riri's a problem. She's a Mary Sue. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just getting conflicting thoughts here. Like, um, thank you, Trunks, by the way, for giving me an actually like legitimate comment. I appreciate that. Okay. If the color of fantasy character matters to you, you see race as defining characteristic. No, that's not true. It's not about the color for me, but it's the fact that people are refusing to say what they want to say out loud because they're using every other excuse except the actual truth is that they do not like to see a black queer woman on screen. They're not used to it. They're just completely trying to figure out why it's so bad, and they're using everything else but the fact that she's a queer black woman on screen. Like, makes you a what? Makes me a what? Say what you want to say. I'm tired of people pretending like there aren't tons of black characters everywhere. Black characters everywhere. Everywhere where? In the MCU? Hmm. Marvel Cinematic Universe. Okay. Let's go through the list. Okay. Let's go through the list of black versus non black characters in the MCU. Okay, Tony, white. Steve, white. Thor, white. White looking because he's an alien, but white looking. Natasha, white. Not white, but you get what I'm saying. Okay, she's not black. Bruce Banner, not black. Not black. Nick Fury, that's a black one. That's one. Loki, not black. Pepper, not black. Peter Quill, not black. Gamora, she's an alien. She's not actually black. Doesn't count. Okay, but it's a black actress, so I'll count it. Actually, no, I don't count it because it's a fictional character. No, sorry, not fictional. She is an alien. She's green, actually. She's a green character. Rocky Raccoon, not black. An alien. Well, actually, not alien, but alien. Groot, alien. Drax, alien. Wanda, not black. Vision, robot. Cyborg. Scott Lang, not black. Sam Wilson, there's another one. There's two. T'Challa, black. Doctor Strange, Spider Man, Carol, Mantis, Valkyrie. She is Asgardian, so I wouldn't count that either. Hela, Shuri. There you go. Okay, there you go. Okay. Thanos, obviously. Shang-Chi, nope. Yelena, nope. Kate, no. Mark, no. Kamala, no. Jane, no. Kang. Kang is interesting. I'm gonna count him though because I think he's from Earth. He could be an alien, but I think he's from Earth. Monica, 6. Adam, no. Echo, no. Phil, no. Maria, no. James Rhodey, that's 7. Eric, no. Jane, no. Peggy, no. Howard Stark, no. Heimdall, he's Asgardian, doesn't count. Red Skull, no. Hank Pym, no. Hope, no. Egg, no. Nebula, no. Yondu, no. Baron, no. No. Mordo, that's 8. Vulture, no. Sharon, no. Mobius, no. Sylvie, no. Ravonna Renslayer, that's 9. Carly, no. Agatha, no. Kingpin, no. Taskmaster, no. Red Guardian, no. Miss Marvel's family, no. No. Obadiah, no. Christine, no. Betty Ross, no. Emil, no. Brock, no. Pursuer, no. Nova, no. Who the fuck? Nova Prime. I forgot he was in that movie. Anyway, Collector, no. Cassie, no. Louis, no. Ulysses, no. Everett, no. Right? So far, I have 8. We've surpassed 10 white people already. We've already surpassed 8 to 10 white people. White people, Earthlings. Right? This, no. Aaron Davis, that is 9. Trevor, who the fuck is Trevor? I forgot his name. I forgot who Trevor was. I forgot who Trevor is. Oh, that guy. Yeah, no. That's so far we got 9. Veb? Fuck is Veb? Okay, that's not. It's not what I was asking for. Nope. I got 9 so far. Luke Cage, 10. 10. Based on this list, there is 10 black Earthlings. 10 who are main enough characters to be considered on to be on this list. This was made in 2024. 10. They are not everywhere. So I don't know where you got that from. Tons of black characters everywhere. Where are you getting that from? They are 10 compared to the 20 plus. Crazy. You think they're more impressed than North Korea? North Korean? Hmm? North Korea. It's not a competition. I don't know why you brought that up. It's a terrible show and comic. Nobody's talking about the comic book version. I don't understand why people keep bringing up the comic book version. Nobody's talking about Riri in the comic books. We're talking about Riri in the MCU. It's a different version of Riri in the MCU. Stop bringing up the comic books. This it's based off the comic books, but it is not the comic books. What are we talking about? It's pretty stupid. It's terrible writing. No, it's not. Terrible acting. You just never met a black woman in your life, apparently. Especially a queer black woman in your life. Terrible legacy to Tony Stark. She has no legacy with Tony. She has no legacy with Tony Stark. The only legacy she got is the fact that they both have a iron suit. She never met Tony. Tony never endorsed her. Okay, like, what are we talking about? I can't do it. She can't do it because she's not a billionaire, so steal stuff. Uh, she's just she couldn't make the suit because she's not a billionaire, or she thought she couldn't because she didn't have the money. She still made it. She still figured out a way to make it. Like, I'm confused. Tony built it in a cave with scraps. She built it in her house. Riri literally went through the same thing. Not the same thing. Riri went through a similar situation to where, like, she had a box of scraps and she built an iron suit from that box of scraps and actually made it look better and cooler than Tony did. What? Why, there's tons of videos explaining that the show is crap, and we all agree with 60% of it. Yeah, that's just your algorithm serving you the same thing. The only legacy, like I said, the only legacy she has to uphold is her own and her family's. Tony doesn't even know her. She doesn't know Tony. She only knows what Tony was portrayed as in the media as a character. She saw the stuff, but she didn't know Tony personally. So what are we talking about? Like, okay, so this is interesting. I didn't call you white. I did say that I didn't call you white, but I think some people deleted some stuff because of course they did. Have you ever heard of Batwoman or She-Hulk? I was like, if she was a white woman, she wouldn't be having this. We wouldn't have this conversation. I genuinely think that's truer. I think that's true. It's not as true, right? As is it if she was a white man that was going through this, it wouldn't be as an issue. The writing would be completely different because it's a white man. He has a different level in life. He has a different experience in life. There's a different culture. Batwoman is DC, so we're not talking about DC. She-Hulk. I talked about She-Hulk earlier. The thing about She-Hulk is that it's just like She-Hulk is a interesting story actually because I think the reason why people were so divided on She-Hulk was because, at least for me, the reason why I didn't like She-Hulk as much was because I actually liked the comic book version, and I wish they would have stuck to the comic book version more. But that's because the comic book version of She-Hulk is actually good writing. It was actually good. Riri's wasn't. Riri's was just, she was introduced weirdly, and she's just a weird character in the comic books. They actually did her better in the TV show. Riri, She-Hulk, I think she's a worse version, and it was written by somebody who didn't even read the comics. So there's like she didn't even know where She-Hulk started out from. She didn't even read the comics. She didn't care, right? So like it's a different story entirely. Like, but the fact is also that She-Hulk, like I just, if we go to the thing, She-Hulk has a lot of 1-star reviews. That doesn't make sense because She-Hulk isn't a 1-star show. 1-star shows are like 1-star shows in movies is for shit like The Room, like Tommy Wiseau's The Room. That's a 1-star movie, but it's a fun 1-star movie, but it's still a 1-star. She-Hulk is not that. What are we talking about? So it's the fact that also the fact I think is the fact that she's a woman. I hate to say it, but like there's a through line here, and if you're watching this, you know what the through line, and you can see it. Or Captain Marvel or Supergirl. I don't these are like Captain Marvel got hate because I don't even know why she got hate as much. I think I personally didn't like because I didn't like the way that they portrayed her character in, right? But like she was just written as if she just, I don't know, she just got away with doing stuff. And the acting wasn't as good, and it was just kind of like, eh, it was there. It's there. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really care for the Captain Marvel movie like that. Personally. I'm not the biggest fan of Captain Marvel like that. So I don't really know. I can't really speak on that, if I'm being honest. Supergirl, that's DC. That doesn't count. All you have is you don't understand because you're not black. Yeah, it's pretty that simple because it's a different culture. It's a different culture that you obviously don't know. Then if you make a show for one race, expect it to fail. It's not for one race specifically, but it is written in the point of view of one culture. And the fact you're saying race, I feel like here's the thing: like there's no such thing as two races. It's the human race. We're humans. The race is the humans. We're human races, right? The skin color is different. Ethnicity is different. Culture is different, but the race is not different. We're all human. It's the human race. Give me an example of a white male hero that has this level of backlash. And actually, I want to talk about these. So, somebody said Green Lantern. Where the fuck you get Green Lantern from? Did Green Lantern get backlash? I don't remember Green Lantern getting a backlash. I thought everybody was excited for Green Lantern. Craven the Hunter. Craven the Hunter is just a bad movie, but fair. But it wasn't this much backlash. I don't think it was this. People most of the time agreed that Craven the Hunter was a bad movie. Like The Sonyverse, which is bad. Also, this doesn't even count because it's a different it's a different Marvel. It's Sony. It's not the MCU. I'm talking about the MCU, and it's different MCU specifically. That's what I said. Why does it have to be from the MCU? Because Riri is from the MCU. The writers are different. The people who are behind these shows are different. If it's from the Sonyverse, that doesn't count because it's a different company that's writing these Marvel shows, right? And the other examples are from DC. That's a different, completely different company. I'm talking about MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the giant storyline that they've been writing for decades now. John Walker. Okay, this is actually a good reply. John Walker is interesting. He is complex. He is unique, right? He is an interesting character. However, I don't think he's getting this level of backlash. I honestly don't think he's getting that level of backlash. He's also he didn't get a TV show. He got 2 movies. He was in 2 movies, right? Sorry, I'm sorry. He was in Falcon and Winter Soldier. I got that fact wrong. I got that fact wrong in the comments. I got that fact wrong. He's in a TV show and a movie. Okay? Actually, it's interesting because when John Walker got introduced, people liked John. People thought he was cool. And then when he killed that guy on his mission, then that's when the fandom split. Cuz some people believe that it was okay for him to do that and other people believe it wasn't okay for him to do that. That's a reasonable thing for the community to be split about. That's okay. That's not really backlash though. They weren't attacking his character like that. They were attacking the thing that he did, the specific thing that he did. Everything else after that, they're okay with his character. But that one thing he did was an issue. But the thing about Riri is that people are attacking the whole character of Riri. Everything about Riri all of a sudden is now a problem. That's not the same thing. That's not the same thing. But that's as close as you're going to get. It's John Walker. MCU fans didn't really hate him though. He was supposed to be much more in the gray zone than Riri, for sure. He was much more of a willing to like kill when it needed to, right? How he gains powers. They just split about whether or not he deserved the title cap and all that stuff. Yeah, pretty much, right? A lot of fans disliked him initially, and the only reason liked him because his actions in media have shown him to be the best successor to Captain America. No, Sam is still better. Um, Sam Wilson's still a better successor to Cap than John by a fucking mile. By the way, I'm not the biggest fan of how they portray Sam sometimes, but he's a better successor than John is. That's for sure. He is what Riri needs to be. However, so far, how is he what Riri needs to be? You want Riri to just get angry and kill somebody? I'm confused. Like you just want Riri to crash out and just end somebody's life, right? Okay. She's been under disappointment in both the comics. Stop bringing out the fucking comics. Y'all need to stop bringing out the comics. Stop bringing out the comics, because that's a different version of the character. That is not Riri in the MCU. It's people like you who keep allowing Marvel to get away with writing slop. There's that word again. Just acknowledge that she's badly written and actually help the community to pressure Marvel to actually start writing good stories for once. She's not badly written. She's written differently than you're used to, which is okay. And you can argue that for every character they ever write. You can argue that for She-Hulk. You can argue that for John Walker. You can argue that for Valentina. You can argue that for fucking Phil Coulson. You know what I'm saying? like, okay, the MCU version is literally a carbon copy of the comic. No, the fuck is not. Who? What? See, you haven't. This is just insane. This is insane to. She is not a carbon copy. She's not the same. Riri in the comic books. Okay. Anybody who's read the Riri, who knows about Riri in the comic books, I'm not even like. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't read everything, but I know enough to know that they are not the same character. They are written differently. Okay. There's a reason why people don't like Riri in the comic books. Okay, and that's not the same reason why people don't like Riri in the show. Two different characters. This is a great show idea for like little kids. What? 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 But who is this for in Marvel's mostly male fan base? You should say mostly white male fan base. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. She's an ex college student becoming an adult, and you're saying the plot line is for kids. How does that make any sense? She's drinking alcohol in the show. She is a grown woman. What are we talking about? We'll know by ratings. The ratings don't mean much when it comes to Black American cinema. I stand by this. Genuinely, I stand by the fact that when it comes to Black American cinema, ratings don't mean anything because people are just going to be blinded by their incognito racism. It's that simple. And they don't even know they're being racist because they think they're being logical with their review. But you just aren't open-minded enough to understand different characters require different ways of writing. The culture is different. The culture they grew up in is different, so they have to be written differently because of a different culture they grew up in. What do we that that makes sense to me logically. That makes sense to me. I'm not sure why they aren't. I don't know. And then you find what nonsense. Black Panther was an absolutely amazing movie. Nobody's talking about Black Panther, but since you want to bring up Black Panther was about a country in Africa. That is African culture. That is not Black American culture. There's Black Americans in the show in the movie, but that is not Black American culture. That is African culture. That is a fictional African culture. Which this is the second time Black Panther has been brought up, and I feel like that needs to be discussed because what the fuck are we talking about? Black Panther. I feel like you can't equate Ironheart to Black Panther, okay? Because the culture is different. The writing is going to be different because it's a different culture. How many times do I have to say this? Okay, brother, her entire existence in Marvel was shoehorned in. Now, I partially agree that she kind of was just in the Black Panther movie, but I think it's fine. I think it's a little shoehorned in, but like I think it's fine. I think the way they introduced her in Black Panther 2 was fine for the most part. I just don't like the way that she was portrayed in the movie. You know what I'm saying? But it makes more sense now that we see the show, right? Seeing where she came from, seeing her home, seeing that she grew up in Chicago, you know what I'm saying? Okay. Okay, I'll give him that. I wasn't the biggest fan in Black Panther 2. Also because I hate the way that they designed her outfit. But let's get into it. Also, the profile pictures of some of the one of the worst characters in Fallout New Vegas. That guy was obviously like some I don't know. Let's not get into that. For someone who doesn't claim racism matter, you seem to talk about it a lot. Race doesn't matter to me. But to people like you don't even realize that race matters to you because you keep telling yourself that you think you're above it when you half of your opinions just doesn't make sense. It breaks down with critique. With enough critique, it just breaks down completely because you didn't even watch the show. You don't even understand the intricacies of what the show is trying to portray. So you don't even know what you're talking about. Which says a lot because you're just not in the culture. And sadly, that has to do with race. It is what it is. Ironheart is a terrible character. She was given far more than any other person would be given. She was given far. What was she given? Okay, she was in it. She was at MIT. The only thing she was really given was at MIT. She was given the money to do this, to the scholarships and stuff to build the suit. But how is she given far more than any other person? What other person are you comparing this to? I can't even critique this because who are you comparing this to exactly? Her contemporaries, the other young Avengers, maybe? Are you talking about Kate Bishop? Kate Bishop was in college too, but she's an archer. She's, to be honest, I don't even know what she went to college for. I had to watch the show again, but she's an archer. She's an archery like master, not a mechanical engineer. Sure, okay. She complains. Where did she complain really? Besides the fact that she was like, I want money to build my suit. That seems like a logical complaint. She was upset. I'll be upset too. Like, what are we talking about? Arrogant. She's smart. She's allowed to be arrogant every once in a while. She knows what she's capable of, and she believes in her ability. In Iron, like, how is Iron Man any different? Okay, she steals and belittles others. When did she belittle other people? I want to see a scene where she belittles somebody. I don't remember it in the show. I could be wrong. She steals. The group she's with, yeah, they steal, but they steal from actually they're not even stealing anything. Where did you get the steal part from? Because the group that she's with, they're not stealing really anything. They were like they got in there and said, "We're going to fuck your shit up unless you give us what we want, which is we want money. We want you to pay us." Right? They're not stealing really anything. At least the one where the lady was doing like the thing that Elon did with the underground tunnel and stuff. They went to her and was like, we now are owners, partly owners of this company. That's what they wanted. This nigga Parker is playing the long game. He's not playing just stealing shit. The mission episode 3, they went there. He was talking to the guy and said, "Hey, either we're gonna fuck your shit up, or you're gonna give us money from the company." And that guy was like, "Yeah, y'all finna die." He started it. That rich guy, he started it because the company, you know what I'm saying? He had fail safes in place for situations like this. It is what it is. So I'm not sure where you get the steal part from. Maybe if you watch the show, you would know. But all this is proving that people just don't watch the show. They're just not watching the show. She's terribly written character, and like the professor said in the first episode, she's disgraced to the legacy of Tony Stark. The fact that you're hanging on the words of the professor who tried, this is the same professor, this is the same guy who went to Tony and had an idea and got shut down in the previous movies. And now he's dick riding Tony Stark. And now you want to use that as a thing against Riri. Okay. All right. 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 That makes sense. I was like, she is allowed to have a character arc just like Tony did, so that comment doesn't hold up at all. And if you guys want to like berate me because I'm like attacking these people, or not attacking, I'm just calling it out, calling out what I see. Cool, go ahead. Cool. I'm not perfect. I'm not allowed to be perfect. I don't want to be perfect. I have flaws. Everybody has flaws. Dude, you're praising a terribly written character simply because of her race and using race as a shield from criticism. No. Riri is allowed to have criticism. You can criticize her. But a lot of this criticism is broken down because you don't watch the goddamn show. It's that simple. It's that simple. You didn't watch the show, so you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about because you didn't watch the 3 episodes. You watched one episode and then quit. I'm hungry. You haven't provided a single point of how any of us are wrong in terms of race and personal attack. It's not true. That's just uh, that's just objectively not true. Look at the comments. It's just not true. I only do that sometimes. I actually do reply and try to like understand where you're coming from because I don't fucking get it. I'm doing this right now in the video. I don't even need to show you. I don't need to show you the scenes. It's literally like basic knowledge of the show. This is basic knowledge that you're missing. Go watch the goddamn show first. Like, and what character arc? Please tell me what her character arc is because all I see is the exact same person from Black Panther episode 1 and 3. There's 6 episodes. There's 3 more episodes coming out. There's 3 more episodes coming out after this. And you're talking about what character arc? She just fucking started the show. It's the first 3 episodes of the show. What are you talking about? Jesus, man. She has 3 more episodes to learn from her mistakes and maybe get an episode and maybe get a season 2. Tony developed as a character in a single movie. Yeah, because they had to speed it up because it's one movie. They had to speed up his. If it was a TV show, Tony would take a slower time because realistically, people take longer to have a character arc in real life. I know, mind blowing, crazy. Whoa! It's almost like Riri is a realistic version of what would probably happen. She needs to take time. She has to. There's time and effort that needs to be placed into these characters, so you can understand where they came from and where they end up, so they can be a hero. And then you be like, oh my god, man! Remember when they first started and it was like they was doing this stuff? Man, she would be so upset at herself. Like Spider-Man himself is a character who got upset that Uncle Ben died and went around finding the killer to Uncle Ben on a fucking revenge spree, hurting people constantly. He was pissed. Like, what are we doing? And then he learned eventually that, like, yeah, it's probably not a good idea. I feel bad that I did that. Now I gotta help these people because I understand the complexities of what it means to be a quote unquote villain or an antagonist. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to help these people. So like sure. It shouldn't take Riri half a season to realize crime equals bad. Okay. In the society that Riri is living in, this is not this is just not true. Crime does not equal bad person or just bad because it depends on what crime you're doing. It depends on what crime you're doing and what your end goal is. What are you trying to achieve by doing this crime, this criminal act? Nigga, the Punisher is walking around killing criminals every day. That makes him a bad person all of a sudden? Yeah, it actually does. But also makes him, he has a reason for doing that. He has a legitimate reason that he thinks is legitimate. And that's all that's important. He believes that he's doing the right thing. That's why him and Murdoch are constantly bickering about this shit. Because Murdoch doesn't want to kill people. He will hurt them, but he won't kill them. Punisher is actively bloop, 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 bloop. And y'all praise this nigga like he's some. Okay. And they even talked about it in the show. They even talked about it in the show. Frank was mad at these people who were dressing up as him. And he was like, y'all a bunch of pussies. Because they weren't doing it for the right reason. Like, for someone aspiring to be a hero, she's not aspiring to be a hero, actually. Not yet. She wants to be a better person. Because she feels bad about the actions that her she feels bad about the consequences of her actions. She's feeling bad. She has to learn what it means to have this suit, what it means to have this level of intelligence and power. You can't just, you know what I'm saying? That's like exactly, she doesn't want to be a hero. She's been saying it in the first 3 episodes. She just wants to build it because she could. She doesn't really have a reason yet. She's slowly getting her reason as to why she wants to be a hero. You know what I'm saying? She has to be selfish first a little bit. She has to have some type of thing, like she has to build, like she, Jesus man, this is so sad. Crime does not equal bad all the time. That's the whole point. That's literally the whole point of the show. That's bullshit. Crime is wrong, period. So Punisher is a villain. I'm actually gonna say this. So the Punisher is the villain, right? I'm just gonna comment that. Okay. Okay. So I don't know if anything. Okay. So he was talking about War Machine here. And he was like, actually, I like War Machine, all this stuff. Why the fuck are you talking about War Machine? We didn't have a conversation about War Machine, but whatever. Okay, let's see what this one is. I'm glad you like War Machine. I don't see how that correlates with the original comment though. I was trying to be friendly. Anyway, I deleted it. If you were trying to be friendly, why did you delete it? You're right, of course. It is your channel and post what you want. I was trying to help you out to get to think about what you posted. I knew you thought Ironheart was peak. Your thumbnail where you called it an instant classic. Yeah, you're telling me you're speaking to the choir. Honestly, I thought you were being sarcastic at first. This is the second time somebody has said that the thumbnail was being sarcastic. That's insane. My thumbnail failed successfully, apparently. I could imagine why YouTube recommend your video. I watch FNT. I have no idea who FNT is. But maybe you should stop watching them because this is concerning. But then I say your sub count, realized I was dealing with a unicorn. The fuck is, what does that mean? One of the mythical fans that actually likes the crap Marvel has put out since Endgame. When have I ever said in a video that I like all the stuff that Marvel has put out since Endgame? Maybe if you watch the rest of my channel, you would know that's not true. Like maybe if you watch the rest of my channel, the other videos I talk about the MCU, maybe if you watched it, you would know that I critique every single installment that they make separately, and then I add it to the rest of the MCU. I don't like I don't just like this shit. You think it's fun for me to critique She-Hulk? No, I want her to be a better character because I like She-Hulk. I like the concept of She-Hulk. So I thought, great. Hold on. So I thought, great. I can finally hear someone tell me how the show. So it isn't hot garbage. It's not. It's pretty good. All I got was that you like the show because it exists. You didn't watch the whole video. And I think I stated in another comment, you confuse moral complexity or being morally great with just being immoral. No. You just don't know what you don't even know what you watched. You didn't even I don't even think you even watched the show. I genuinely don't think you even watched the show. I don't think he did. This is the same guy who didn't watch the show. He says it here actually, I think. Immorally gray is when you kill a guy to save 10 people. Yeah. Okay. Joining a gang, it's not a gang. Stealing because you are dumb, broke, and dishonest. That's literally not even the story of the character, but well, whatever. It's being a criminal. All of a sudden being a criminal is something you should start like I don't understand what's happening here. So the Punisher killing people is not a criminal. Daredevil weren't running around breaking people's legs. Is him not being a criminal? The whole the whole point of these street level heroes is that they are vigilantes. They're not working with the government. That's the whole fucking point. Spider-Man is a vigilante. Daredevil is a vigilante. Frank Castle is a vigilante. Ironheart is a vigilante. Iron Man was a vigilante, and so he started working for the government. Captain America is a vigilante. Actually, yeah, Captain America is a vigilante because he doesn't work for the government. He did before, and then he quit because the government started doing fuck shit, and then he was like, "Yeah, I'm not doing this anymore." John Walker is less of a vigilante than Steve Rogers was, but now he's a vigilante because he's working with a company and not with the government. I don't think people understand what vigilantes. They don't understand what an actual vigilante is, and it's kind of sad. You're only helping yourself, and that's what I hear Riri had done. Yeah, she's being selfish right now because she needs to learn that she needs to take care of other people outside of herself. It's called a character arc. It's called having a character arc. It's called having like a character flaw, and then learning that your character flaw is going to be your downfall and course correcting to make sure that she doesn't become a villain in her own story. That's the whole point of the story. Wow, this is just sad. Now, the free advice I was giving you, I don't want your fucking advice because you obviously don't even understand the premise of the video. If you could read between the lines of the previous comment, is don't make a post that adds nothing to the conversation. Well, that's why there's a part two. That's why I'm making this video right now. An hour and 30 minutes. I'm just gonna upload this. Honestly, I'm not gonna edit this at all. I'm just gonna upload it. Cause I like, what are we doing? You just repeated yourself and got defensive over being called out. You want to encourage engagement and grow your channel. Yeah, that's why I'm engaging with y'all so you can come back to the video. Give me more views. Thank you. That's a question people want to answer. Like, what about Ironheart? Did you love or hate? I could ask that, but I know why they hate it. They're telling me exactly why they hate it in the comment. I don't have to ask them that. I can see it. Anyway. Right. She didn't even watch the show. Even though I haven't seen the show. So everything you're saying is invalid because you haven't seen the show. So why are you talking to me in all these long paragraphs when you haven't even seen the show? By your own words, you haven't seen the show. So why are you talking to me about the show if you don't even seen the show yet? I'm confused why people do that. I'm confused why people just think it's okay to do that. At least watch the show to full and then have an opinion. Okay. And that's my comment section. That's my comment section. I even got into where's the other video at? Where is it? Where is it? Here it is. Comics Explain. I saw this and I was like, you know what? I want to watch. I want to see this one too. I want to see what people are saying in his comment section. So that's what we finna do. Okay. So it seems like I think he got more positive ones, which is good. Tony Stark's genius is not the Mark One being built in a cave with a box of scraps, but the arc reactor he built in his chest. That is like the and hello, hello. That's where his genius comes from. He built the arc reactor using shit in a box of scraps in the cave. That is what is important. I agree. That's what makes him a genius. In his right, in Tony Stark's right, that's what makes him a genius because he built the arc reactor. And people are like, how the fuck did he do that? This dude's a genius. Yeah. And most of those scraps were weapons from his own company. Thank you. Those scraps were everything you needed to build a high-tech long-range ballistic missile, right? It was also the square one. Riri started from zero. Zero. She got all of her scraps from a random car car parts store. All her scraps came random because she just had to go in there and shop. She went in there with her friend or stepbrother or whatever, and they went in there and shopped. And she got all that stuff in her head, figuring out what she had to do to build this suit. And then on top of that, if you actually watch the show, you will understand. You will understand that when she was talking to Joe about why she doesn't have an arc reactor in her suit, she said, "I don't need one." I'm not. I'm paraphrasing, but she basically said she doesn't need one because it runs off of wind power and sunlight. Whoa, that seems legit to me. That energy source won't go anywhere. She figured out a way to retrofit the suit to where she doesn't need an arc reactor. That in itself is pretty genius. Like that in itself is like. Let's go back. Like he wasn't funded or shopped for. Like he still got the funds in that cave. The scraps was his shit that he built that got intercepted and was in his cave. And they forced him to build something with his own stuff. She got a full college fund to finish her build. She finished the build and she didn't even need an arc reactor to do that. Riri's genius is building a functioning suit without an arc reactor. That's her genius. That's why she's smart because she figured it out. See, I'm glad this is why I'm glad I wanted to go to this comment section because people like who understand it better than I am because I'm not the greatest about trying to like explain everything. I just know I watched the show and I know what the show was telling me. Okay. Gigi's genius is building a functioning suit without an arc reactor or Stark tech at all. Tony would be impressed. Very impressed, actually. He like, you did what? You didn't even need an arc reactor? How did you do that? Like he would be asking her how the fuck she did that. Like, what are we talking about? Right. You compare a college funding student to a billionaire. Like I don't know. Okay, you're comparing a billionaire to the support of Wakandan tech and funding at the time. She actually had it. Right. Well, she did have Wakanda. That was the Black Panther movie. That's not the TV show. So I'm not sure why they're bringing that up. She get real. She worked with people far more advanced than Stark and still couldn't get a leg up. What are you talking about? What? She literally built the suit with an actual box of scraps in her house. She got more than a leg up. Tony's father created the original arc reactor that Tony later improved for Obadiah. That takes nothing away from him. Homework: Tony's father was a genius and wasn't born rich. Yeah, to his words, and became rich through his inventions. Tony is a nepo baby, like just by definition. I think if we can't find a way to get rich as a genius, then what are we talking about? Why does she need to get rich? She was doing that at the school. She was making money. She was making bank. But the thing is, she didn't care about the money per se. She just needed the money to continue to build the suits. She cares about this suit. She wants to get this suit right. Obviously, right? So she's not even trying to get rich. She just wants to build the suit correctly. She stole and he didn't. What? Like I said before, she didn't steal anything. Not really. Like, if you want to say that she stole from MIT, she didn't, because she used the MIT grant money to build the suit, which is her suit, in collaboration with the school. Tony reinvented and improved his own ideas, and all Riri did was piggyback his with lack of ingenuity. This Tony Stark glazing is crazy. How are you glazing Tony Stark this much? Nigga. Look, we all love Tony, but like, there is no way. There is no. I'm taking these glasses off because they're hurting my eyes. There's no way. There's no fucking. It's just sad, bro. It's just sad to see. Tony is up 4 phases in Riri's. This is not a competition. Why is this? Why are they making this a competition? Comparing a billionaire's lifelong access to resources with a 19-year-old college student getting grants. Is she 19? I didn't know that. I mean, it makes sense. She started college early, but she was drinking in the episode, so like, to be fair, it is kind of realistic. They don't really give a fuck. Giving grants and briefly getting Wakandan help after proving herself. She was already building the shit, and Shuri was like, "Let me help you build it better," and she did. She already was building it with the box scraps in the Black Panther movie. She and couldn't keep the tech is a reach. Right. Tony had a legacy, a weapons empire, and private R&D playground. Riri had ability and ambition. Two different things. She had to work her ass to this point. She was serious about this shit. She wanted to build the suit. She was serious about building the suit, but she didn't have the same level of opportunity that Tony had. Building on Stark Tech stealing is a double standard. Like, how was that stealing? Innovation always builds on what came before. Literally, difference is who gets grace for doing it. Genius doesn't guarantee wealth. Thank you. Thank you. And you know what? This is, for me, this is a criticism for uh previous like geniuses in the universe, because like, not criticism, but I think a lot of people think, a lot of fans think that genius equals wealth. No, it doesn't. Tony was smart, yes, but he also had a shit ton of money behind him. Reed Reed Richards is smart, and he built himself up because he was smart and because he had a wife to help him. And she was much more of a business person than he was. Can we be honest about that? Sue Storm helped him with the company. Otherwise, he'd probably still be in his room building shit and whatever the fuck he'd be doing. He met Sue and Sue helped him. Victor Von Doom is the same idea, except Victor was better at business than Reed was. And he's much more of a political guy anyway than Reed is. So their intelligence does not have a one size fits all. Different people have different ways to show they're intelligent. What are we talking about? Especially with systematic barriers in place. Tony had the luxury of failing upward. Riri doesn't. Tony even admits multiple times that his wealth is a huge part of what makes his work possible. In the first movie, dude had a multi-billion-dollar suit assembled for him while he was at a cocktail party. He has money. Doesn't grow on trees. Right. Riri was in her mom's kitchen rolling metal plates. She was making this shit in her mom's kitchen. Which, W mom for allowing her to do that. Because, bro. Sure, she could have pursued something profitable. But one of her flaws in the show is impatience. She wanted to build this shit now. She needs to show. She wanted to, you know what I'm saying? She was more focused on building the suit as soon as possible. Her arc is about facing that and growing past it, just like Tony had to confront his arrogance, narcissism, and selfishness. Tony had a decade. Riri has 2 appearances. You're rushing to call her a failure before she even had a chance to run. My God. See? See? This is what I'm talking about. They're saying it better than I can say it. That's why That's why I'm making this video. I don't care if people aren't really watching it, but people need to look back on this video in the future to understand Riri as a character is being unfairly treated by the wrong side of the fan base simply because they're trying to pit her up against Tony Stark, who has an insane level of advantage. These are 2 sides of the same genius, right? They're both mechanical engineers, but one is at the bottom having to work their way up. The other one is at the top working their way back down because they realize that their mistakes is real. Consequences have actions have consequences. So Tony had to learn to keep himself down here because his selfishness and ego was almost going to kill him. He almost died because he was so egotistical and selfish. And you know what I'm saying? We know rich people have advantages. Saying it out loud shouldn't be controversial. It should not be controversial that rich people have advantages. What are we talking about? You're dick riding Tony Stark, even though he is just at a better advantage than most people. And most other mechanical engineers don't have the background that Tony has. They have the background of Riri. What? Why not just go back to Wakanda? Why would she even go anywhere else? Uh, Cause she has a home in Chicago and she's going to school at MIT. Why does she? She can't just stay in Wakanda. What are we talking about? She doesn't want to stay in Wakanda. She couldn't keep anything because she was working with Wakanda. So by law, she just like I'm confused as to what like she was there on a a limited passport basically. She wasn't allowed to keep anything she worked on while at Wakanda. She only has the money from the grant that was for her tuition for the suit. Like through those things, she was able to see the potential. So now she's serious about seeing that potential through in her own merits. Right. She did build the suit from allowance the school gave her and the money she got from selling tech. It wasn't funded by MIT. She got the allowance from the school that was for her overall school funding, just in general, just to go to the classes. And she got from selling tech to other students. MIT didn't fund it. MIT through a third party gave her money for school, not for the suits. The suit is hers. Right. Whiplash made an arc reactor in a rundown apartment in Russia for the like, and he wasn't a billionaire either. I mean, it's true. Whiplash was a genius in his own right. He just was too. He was just too uh like he was just too caught up on the revenge part to really do anything with it. Let's see. Tony wouldn't be Tony Stark if he wasn't a billionaire. That's true. Staying Tony Stark was able to build this. I mean, you don't need to be a billionaire. You just need to know how to write the. You just need to know how to play the system. It's that simple. Ironheart seems like a villain origin story. What? Yeah, because we haven't seen a thief protagonist before in the MCU. Right, like it's more so than a hero story. Right, like it's not just a hero. Like she's complex. Love acting new for every hero story. It's just like they're introductory pieces. People look at these shows themselves and hate on them, but they're actually just used to introduce characters without having to use 30 minutes of a movie. Exactly. It's all this ease into the science technology combining era to get into Doom, right? And then demonic horror aspect of MCU. She's going to use that magic tech against Doom, and then Doom probably has his own version of magic tech. So like that way she can probably fight against him on level playing fields. MCU hasn't had a banger since Endgame. What the fuck? Please not feed the trolls. I'm feeding the trolls because it gives me views. If this video goes crazy, I hope it does. But like, it's just one of those things where it's just like we just gotta be honest, bro. These people do not want to accept the fact that she's just her own character. WandaVision and Agatha all along are the best things Marvel has done. And TV show wise, yes. WandaVision and Agatha all along is some of the best TV stuff that the MCU has done in a long time. It's really good. I'm not the biggest fan of um like I said in my review and I talked about it, like Agatha all along has some things that I'm not the biggest fan of, but like WandaVision, that shit is fucking fire. Fire. dude. Oh my god. Guardians of the Galaxy 3, No Way Home, Multiverse of Madness, Thunderbolts, Moon Knight, Werewolf by Night. What are we talking about? Like, it's insane. It's insane. So, like, it's so interesting seeing these people talk about this because it's like, you must be the only person saying good things about this show. I'm saying it right. I'm literally making a video about it right now. He's a Wokey from Cali. They're not watching the show. Like this, all this proves is that people are not watching the show, and they're hating on it because they're not watching the show. It's not the same Iron Man, but sure. Anyway, this is the video. I think the YouTube comments is enough to talk about. Um, I could go into X, but I don't know. X is kind of scary because people gonna say the most craziest shit. Let's see. Hold on. Actually, let's see what it says. What the fuck? Oh, Black woman led in MCU, where every comment section that even mentions Ironheart is filled with the nastiest, most hateful things. Like they are like y'all just refuse to believe that this character is okay. Look at this. They made a show about a black girl who steals because she thinks she has the right to steal from others. Where'd you get that from? That's not the reason why she didn't even steal in the show. What did she steal? I need to know what she stole because people keep saying she stole. What did she steal? Exactly. Tell me what exactly did she steal? Right. Like you see, and then they're saying they're doing this right, where it's like, if I'm wrong, tell me what she did that is superhero worthy. She is like she has 3 episodes in. She just started being a fucking person. She just started being a human being, not a human being. She started being an adult. She just started. She's like, if she's 19, she's 19. I don't know how old she is in the show, but 19 seems like a reasonable age. Like is she has to start from somewhere. What are we talking about? It's a tired argument, bro. Like MCU heroes do bad things. Captain America has probably killed some people. He's broken some arms. He's broken some skulls. He's broken some you know what I'm saying? Some chest cavities. Like, come on, bro. He's hurt people. He's not a completely good person. So again, you don't actually make any arguments. You only say others did it. Nigga, you're not giving any examples. You didn't give one example at all about like her steal. What did she steal? I want to know, what did she steal? Tell me. What could she have possibly stolen? It's just not very good. I mean, if that's your opinion, sure. That's being generous. Last time this show got review bombed. Right. Like, you're not watching the show. You're just basing on what other people are telling you, and you're not even trying to like why are they so obsessed with hating on this, bro? It'll bomb because of Riri, and the creators and studio and a certain group of people will be in denial and throw all kinds of jabs for people that don't spend money on woke shits. What? Because she's a black queer person, a black queer woman, all of a sudden it's woke. Jesus Christ. I hope it does well, but it will flop. Jesus, man. Y'all took it from black people. Like y'all use this word woke as if it means something now. It used to mean something, and then all of a sudden you changed it to like everything diversity, basically. Woke is just, woke when woke first started. The term woke first started, and you can look this up. The term is supposed to mean you need to wake up to what the country is actually doing in real life against darker skinned individuals, against the black community. The system is different. The system treats the black community different than it does other Americans, other non-black Americans. So wake up to that fact, and now you can act differently in the system because the system is not meant for you. Like the system is not meant for black Americans. I'm not gonna get into that though. Like it's so sad to see people just hate on this shit, bro. Actually, just in case, I don't want anything crazy to like. Okay, so this one, oh my god, this post went crazy. If people are like this over a show, imagine how they treat regular people when they come in contact with people at the store, delivery drivers, neighbors. She is a realistic character who's black, a black woman who's queer. Those are real people in real life who that if you just not in the black community, you just wouldn't come into contact with them. The racists they're so upset, bro. It's like, oh my god, the new installment is not a white man. How dare they? J Aura. She just looks pissed off. Of course she's pissed off. Did you not watch the show? I'll be upset too. I don't want to be here. But she's here because she needs the money. Maybe because she's actually pissed off. What the fuck? You obviously hate yourself, and trans people hate themselves. Where'd the trans people come from? Hold up. What the fuck? Wait, hold on. Yeah, because she's actually pissed off. So they don't have a single shot, promo image, still image, or trailer showing even a speck of emotional range. Okay. She doesn't relax for the entire series. Yeah, she's stressed. She's stressed because she's trying to figure out how to get this shit to work. And she has to deal with this bullshit because she wants the money to make the suit work. Show your roof. Actually have an argument, just hate white people. Brother, I am the white people. Doesn't mean you don't hate white people. You obviously hate yourself. All trans people hate them. Where did the trans part come from? What the fuck are we talking about? Jeez, man. Then maybe take the 50 flags out of your bio and stop identifying as he, they. This is so sad. It doesn't matter why. So it doesn't matter why she's angry. She has a reason to be upset. In the show, she has a very reasonable reason to be upset. She doesn't want to be there, but she's there anyway, and she's stepping on business. It is what it is, bro. She's serious. She's a serious character. She's dealing with serious shit. A show about a teenager named Ironheart is not a serious show. It has iron and heart. Her heart is made of iron, but she still has a heart. She's still a human being. She still has a heart, but her heart is made of iron because she's been through a lot in her life. What are we talking about? That's like they created an unrelatable character and did unrelatable marketing, and you're defending it because you're an NPC who pushed DEI no matter how bad the content is. Oh my shit! Oh my god! Why? Why did I go on X, bro? Why did I do this? Because these people are just so. It's so sad. This is sad, bro. This is just sad. I might premiere this video. I might premiere it just so it can be like a 2 hour live stream. Low key, I might do that. With an anti-woke brand, it's so sad. If you have to rely on still marketing images and short clips to make your point, it makes you sound like an uninformed dipshit. Either way, watch the show or don't. Stop pretending your critique is nothing more than racist slop for engagement. Like the word slop is there, but they're not wrong. Okay. I feel bad for people like him. They can't have a good life to this point. They just think everything just sucks. Like, can you just enjoy something for 2 seconds? This is why we go into the comment section. This is the reason why we go into the comment section. Because just because somebody like you could have somebody could be watching this and agree with the guy saying, and all of a sudden you just indirectly call somebody an N-word. You're obviously racist. Please stop. Jesus, man. Like, uh, bringing race into it. You just call. Okay. The evidence is right there. Like, do I need to say anything? Man, this is just. Bruh. It's actually crazy. Black Iron Man. All she did was walk out of the suits. And Iron Man doesn't do that? The way she nonchalantly exited out the armor was so sassy. Woke slop. See how you. Uh, yeah, true. Jesus, man. Golden Age of Marvel and not this slop. You are Golden Age. God forbid we have a queer black woman as the main character. Like, that's so ridiculous. It's hilarious. Black people could never invent something like that. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this to myself? This is insane. Most black people are smarter than you. Literally. Millions. I promise you probably millions of black people are smarter than you. Black people didn't stop like performing the first successful open heart surgery. Like, did you just skip Black Panther? Like, oh my god, dude. Did she steal it? I'm leaving. I'm getting off of X. I'm getting off because this is insane. Okay, let's see what Google has to say. I spent like 2 hours on YouTube. Okay, so let's look at all the one-star stuff. Just okay, so we got Alex K on Google. Ironheart is a disappointing and frustrating addition to the MCU that completely disrespects the legacy of what came before it. Oh, let's start with the worst offense. Tony Stark, the literal heart of the MCU, is boiled down to nothing more than a rich guy. What? He's always been a rich guy. That's what he started as. Just a rich guy, and then he gained personality as he realized him being a rich guy is not the thing he should be only focused on. He should be being a better person. Okay. Riri Williams dismisses his legacy by claiming he was Iron Man only because of his wealth. Yeah, that because it's true. The fuck are we talking about? This goes to show that people, a lot of these people who don't like Ironheart don't understand Iron Man. They don't understand their own character. This is what this is showing me. This is what this is showing me. This whole video is showing me that people do not understand Iron Man at all. The people that hate Ironheart don't understand Iron Man as a character. They don't understand that every complex aspect of what makes Iron Man Iron Man. They keep using he built it in a suit with scraps. But like he gave his life to save the universe because he understood that he was a human being who needs to treat other human beings with respect and dignity to take care of other people. The whole point of his journey is to not like he looked at first when he first started, saw himself as a rich businessman, philanthropist, playboy, all that stuff, right? That's what the whole point of Captain America versus Tony Stark. This is just telling me that Tony Stark fans, Iron Man fans, don't understand their own character. This is what this is telling me. It's like I said, this is what this is telling me. You don't even understand your own character. You don't even understand your own favorite character. He wasn't a hero because he had money. No, he wasn't a hero because he had money, but he got to be a hero because he had money. Because he started off with money. He got to even have that chance to not have to go through the morally weird stuff because he had money to get ahead in life from early. He already had money. When he got trapped in that basement, trapped in that cave, he got trapped in that cave because of his own doing, because he provided weapons to the government, and the government lost those weapons to quote unquote terrorists. But when he got home, he still had millions of dollars in the bank. That never changed. He never was broke until like Iron Man 2. When not even Iron Man 2. Not even Iron Man 2. In Iron Man 2, he lost all of his suits. But he didn't lose his money. He was a hero because he had heart, billions, and sacrifice. That was after he realized he needed to be a better person. To reduce him to a bank account is lazy. Number one, you're acting as if Riri knows this. Riri doesn't know Iron Man. She just all she knows is that he was a rich guy who is a superhero. She don't really know the ins and outs of him. We saw that. Riri didn't. So why should she know who Iron Man is on the inside? The only people that really know that is the Avengers and Pepper Potts and Shield. Like people who work for Shield. Like and tone deaf to the foundation of the franchise. It's actually not tone deaf. It's actually realistic. It's actually a realistic depiction of what normal people view Tony Stark as. Some rich guy who's also a hero. The rest of the show doesn't fare much better. The story drags. The pacing is slow. The emotional stakes are non existent. So you telling me that whole heist situation in episode 3 was just non existent? That just wasn't the emotional stakes there? Wasn't there was no emotional stakes there? Oh god, this is just sad. Riri is framed as a genius, but her decisions lack any moral depth. Okay, so this person thinks this person is saying this and they're writing it as if being a genius means you have a good moral standing mentally. Being a genius does not mean you have good morals. Doctor Doom is right the fuck there. He's always been, for the most part, an antagonist, a villain, right? Reed Richards is the opposite of that. That's the whole point of their dynamic, right? And then you got other heroes who are smart, or villains who are smart. Fucking Green Goblin, Norman Osborn is very smart, but he's also a villain who has a Green Goblin mental side who uses his intelligence for evil. Punisher is right there. Punisher's smart in his own way, but that doesn't make him like morally good. You know what I'm saying? Like she steals. See, once again, there's a stealing again. She steals, complains, and carries herself with an attitude that feels unearned. She's a genius. She what? Is it wrong for a genius to know that they're a genius? Nothing about her arc feels heroic or inspiring. She doesn't grow. She doesn't struggle. She just lectures. She struggles a lot, actually. That's the whole point of her character, is that she's struggling with the fact that she's so smart but has to do things in a morally gray way to get what she wants. That's the whole struggle. That's the whole point of the struggle. Writing is hollow and uninspired, with clunky dialogue and scenes that feel like they were pulled from rejected drafts of other shows. I don't know what the fuck you're getting that from. Sure. Whatever. Your opinion. Visually it's bland. The CGI is fine, but nothing stands out. That's your opinion. The suit designs are forgettable. Excuse me. I don't think they're forgettable, but these are opinions, right? The action has no spark or energy. That's your opinion. If you feel that way, cool. Compare this to the first Iron Man or even Spider-Man Homecoming. And here's the thing, I'm gonna talk about it afterwards. Um, First Iron Man or even Spider-Man Homecoming, difference in quality is night and day. Yeah, okay. What really drags the whole series down is insistence to messaging over storytelling. Storytelling is the message. The message is the story. What are we talking about? It tries to tick every box, including every theme, and hit every beat of modern ideology. Every beat? Every theme? Are you sure about that? Yeah, you're just saying shit just to say shit. I don't see it having the theme of like what do you mean every theme? It has a theme of grief. It has a theme of PTSD. It has a theme of uh intelligence. You know what I'm saying? What does intelligence mean? You know what I'm saying? What does it mean to be, to be a hero? Like that's the basic theme of every superhero story. Okay. Modern ideology asking whether those elements actually serve the story. I'm not sure where he's getting that from. Instead of building a character who connects with viewers across the board, why does it have to connect with viewers across the board all the time? She has a personality. She's a person who is a very specific type of person. Why does she have to connect with viewers across the board? This is saying this is saying that this person understands that it connects with a certain people, and they don't like that. They don't like that it only connects with certain people. It's it's right there. Instead of building a character who connects with viewers across the board, it focuses on meeting quotas and injecting surface level representation. You don't even know what surface level representation is because you want them to represent, like, okay, this is exactly the issue. This is part of the issue because you just said instead of building a character who connects with viewers across the board, which immediately off the jump, you know what that means? That means that the representation cannot be below surface level. They can't go below surface level because you're trying to connect with people across the board. You can't go below surface level with a character that services people across different cultures. You can't go below surface level. If you want actual representation, you got to go below surface level. You got to get deeper. And that's what Riri does. She gets deeper into the culture. This is and we're not even getting that deep into the culture. We're not even that deep. This is not even that deep. Like the culture, we haven't even gotten to like level 3 of the culture yet. And you're acting like this is some surface, like you're acting like this is too much. Focus on meeting quotas and injecting surface level representation. And like, what are we doing? What are we doing? If it was more of a corporate checklist than a show with a soul. That's ironic. That's ironic. A corporate checklist. I feel like they say this every time there's a woman or a black woman or anything that isn't a white man on screen. That's how it feels. Even worse, it leans into caricature. The portrayal of certain black characters relies on outdated game tropes. Game tropes? What game tropes are you talking about? Wildly insensitive and feel completely out of place, is not empowering, is tone deaf. You just you just said that, where is it? It's that it doesn't connect with viewers across the board. And it focuses on injecting surface level representation. But but it leans into caricature. But what you don't even know what this means. Like you're saying this as if you know what black characters are supposed to be portrayed as. When hello, black people are not monoliths. Black Americans aren't monoliths. What are we talking about? You're acting as if, like, okay, nobody asked for this show. Nobody asked for Iron Man either. Nobody asked for She-Hulk. Nobody asked for Daredevil. It adds nothing to the MCU. I disagree. And if anything, it hurts the brand by flooding the market with content that feels rushed and soulless. Where is this rushed? Where does it feel rushed to you? The MCU used to be about quality. Now it's about quantity. Quantity, they literally just said, the MCU, Marvel just said that they're focusing on less quantity and more quality. The official executives at Marvel literally said they're focusing on quality over quantity. They said this. And people are exhausted. The exhaustion is why projects like Thunderbolts struggle, even though they're good people and are so exhausted that they skip the theaters, become a financial budget to needless shows that alienate fans instead of inspiring them. Right, it alienates the white fans, the white male fans. Right, right, and I understand because a lot of fan base is white men who want to see themselves on screen. I get it. Yeah, I get it. No, but like that's not how cinema works. Ironheart is forgettable, misguided, and ultimately pointless. It could have been a great coming of age story about a brilliant new hero, but instead it's a narrative mess. It was the site of what made Marvel great. I'm only going, man. This is it. I'm not gonna do more than one because this is just crazy. A cheap remake of Iron Man. I'm not even gonna. Ironheart emphasis mass media's definition of America, while also embodying what it wants today's youth to identify as. What? Today's internet generation idealizes narcissists. Yeah, Iron Man praises attention seeking and ignorantly criticizes without wisdom through anonymity. Yeah, Iron Man. These behaviors are quickly bringing in the courtesy, responsibility, and modesty. Yeah, Iron Man as a media tool for political means. Ironheart supports this. Political means? Nigga, every piece of cinema is in some way political. Whether you like it or not, it is political. It has to be. Because we're humans. And politics deals with human beings and how human beings live their life on a daily basis. That's politics. Or presenting it to kids. Why do you think it's for kids? This is insane. Despite championing race and gender, Ironheart's characters are bland and solely based on stereotypes. Jesus, man, this is just like the more I see this, the more I'm just embarrassed for these people. Its motivations are hate and resentment. Yeah, because a lot of black Americans hate and resent the political climate they're in right now for good reason. Iron Man doesn't elevate the marginalized. It doesn't represent black America. Are you even black? Probably. But if you're black and you're writing this, you, oh God, you're too far gone. I don't even know what to say. Isn't a hero's story is a villain's one. She just started. She didn't even get a chance to even walk in her story yet. She just got up. She just started walking, and all of a sudden, people are trying to trip her already. She just started. There's no culture in it. There's no culture in it. No wisdom or insight. Vile behavior to the audience. She is a complex character who needs to learn the errors of her ways. What are we talking about? It's an antagonistic political piece designed to motivate and instruct a vulnerable youth to civil disobedience. Jesus Christ, you guys are fucking embarrassing. To feel the same excitement I felt watching Iron Man soar for the first time. It's so sad seeing people so just hung up on nostalgia that they forget to move on, like to move forward in life. He was a soul of the MCU. I don't even, you know what? I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this, and I hope this gets clipped. I hope somebody clips this. I don't think Iron Man is the soul of MCU. I don't think so. Iron Man isn't the soul of MCU. I think the people who are the soul of the MCU is all of the Avengers. It's not just Iron Man. It's the whole group of the Avengers, right? Like that, in my opinion, those people are the soul. The Avengers team is the soul. There are multiple different facets of how people engage with being a hero on one team. You can't just make Iron Man the soul of the MCU. He's not the soul. He's the one that starts it. He's the first domino, but he is not the soul of the MCU. The Avengers movie is the soul, right? The Avengers movies are the soul of the MCU. If you really want to put, if you want to put a single person as the soul of the MCU, I'd rather it be Spider Man. Spider Man is the soul of the MCU and of just Marvel in general. And if you disagree, maybe you just don't understand Spider Man or Iron Man enough. Like it's that simple. This is just sad, bro. This is sad, bro. This is sad. This is insane. I'm actually gonna I'm gonna premiere this, and it's gonna be just premiered, and it's just gonna be a long video, a long stream of just me going through this because I genuinely, y'all, these people embarrass me. They're embarrassing to watch because y'all aren't even trying to understand the complexities of these characters. You're not even trying. Jesus, man. Was put into a black stereotype. Okay, hold on. I'm on Reddit now. We're on Reddit now. You know. But this is the Ironheart subreddit, so I'm curious what people are saying. Okay, as a Latin American watching the show, it made me feel like Riri was put into a black stereotype. Well, she is black, so just by her existing as a black woman, she is automatically a black. She's a black. She's a type of black stereotype just because she exists. Especially in the first episode for no real reason. Since she is like a one in a billion genius. Nobody said she was a one in a billion genius. She's just really smart and a genius. But I don't think she's a one in a billion. She could be, but I don't think they mentioned that in the show. Why would someone like her need to go to illegal things to fund her passion? Isn't this sending young black people a message that no matter how hard they work, they can't amount to anything? Whoa, it's almost like real life. Oh, whoa, wait. It's almost like Riri is a good representation of what happens to smart black individuals in America. Whoa. It's like these people are being introduced to what it's like to being a black American in America. That's what this is showing me. This is showing me that people do not know this side of black America. They don't. They just don't. They just literally don't know this side. That's crazy. Honestly, oh my god. And he said it's giving Emilia Perez vibes. Like it was made by people who shouldn't be making something like this. Just God. They're being exposed. People are being exposed to what it means to be a black American and they're losing their minds. You know how many geniuses are rotting in with their ideas because lack of funding. Yes. And if you say get a job, if you say get a job, okay. And if you say get a good job, the show already explained she's impatient and she will take like forever. It will take like forever plus red tape. Did you watch the combo where Hood entices her with a bunch of cash? What would you do for your dream? You don't understand the character arc. I know this happens in the real world, but I don't see how that makes sense for a young girl building an Iron Man suit, especially when years prior, every single company in the world was trying to do the same thing. No, no, that was that was when Tony Stark was popular, but that's not what's happening now. There's much more stuff happening now. Even if you want her to have a development arc, why not make her like Spider-Man? She was struggling with multiple jobs, rent, and everything else to make this web series and fluid. Why does she get the black stereotype of no money? Better start committing crime because it's realistic. Because we're black. I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my mind reading this shit because it's just simple. It's simple as if you just don't know what happens in the black community. It's that simple. You don't know what it means to be a black American in America. You just don't. Statistically, black people are poorer in the United States than their white counterparts. Is it racist to acknowledge that fact, or is it racist that it's a fact to begin with at all? Media depicting life accurately will inspire people to want to change reality as opposed to getting angry at media for being truthful in its depiction of real life. Spider-Man who got adopted by Tony. He didn't get adopted by Tony. Are you kidding me? Even in Far From Home, he gets a super jet that has equipment. Literally, Spider-Man got lucky as fuck in the MCU. Normally, Spider-Man doesn't get that. But Spider-Man in the MCU had the help of Iron Man. Pretty terrible comparison. Making web shoes and fluid doesn't cost anywhere near the amount it would take for her suit. What are you talking about? It's not the same thing. But like, the fact is that the fact of the matter is that Spider-Man is a white kid who, in his school, was better off in New York than Riri was. Right? He had a better path. He had a much more clear path in his career than Riri did because Riri, right, can't just walk around and just get any job she wants. Sadly, because she's black. How many times do we have to say this? Critiquing isn't a lack of appreciation. The same art can be told different ways. No need to get defensive because some doesn't like the way you do it. Not everyone do the same thing in her in a situation. Create healthy discussions, not boundaries. I mean, I kind of agree. Okay, but did you critique other stereotypes that were or still present in the MCU and Marvel? No, they're not going to talk about the white version because it works for them because they know what that's like and they're actually appreciate. They like it. Black characters are only being sidekicks until Black Panther. Sam Wilson was a sidekick when he first started. Now he's the main character and everybody got a problem with it. Black characters not being intellectually gifted. They had geniuses, James, Tony, Banner, and Shield, and they were all white or Asian. Why didn't you say something about Monica missing a father? Hmm. Why didn't you say something when the first female Captain Marvel and her family were reduced to sidekicks for Carol, and then stated to have been given power by Wanda, a white character? Well, white adjacent. Let's say that. Even critique the fact that Blade was born of a prostitute and his dad was missing. It's a good point. Imagine a white guy at MIT with all of her intelligence, talent, and impatience. He would have been the next Iron Man immediately. They wouldn't have expelled him. They wouldn't have expelled him. They would not have got rid of him. They would have been like, we'll give you another chance. The likelihood that he would have dropped out and gotten a small loan from his parents or his friend's parents has been a success story and is realistically still not high, but significantly higher than a black woman getting afforded the same opportunity. Yes. 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 Sherry exists as an example of a young black woman who was a genius with a lot of resources and privilege. Mm-hmm. Riri is supposed to reflect the experience of a young black woman in America with the same, if not more, potential. She's supposed to be impatient and flawed like Tony Stark and Sherry, but she just exists in a different context than they do. So she must act. She must go through it. She must go through these things differently than they would because she doesn't have the same like career path or the same path that they do. Instead of criticizing her for turning to crime so far against the kinds of people who are causing most of the problems in the world in the first place, rich people, the show wants you to sympathize with her and how she arrived at a place where she feels there's no point at being a goody two shoes because it gets no one anywhere. She's a young adult who has been promised a quick path to her goals versus the chance of never being able to achieve them at all. She wants to achieve it and she needs to achieve it, but she feels like if she goes the quote unquote right route, she's not going to get there. And the hood and them, her and the hood had a conversation about this. Whether or not the show is successful at doing that for you is still up to you. But that's what it seems to be going for. In my opinion, it now really makes sense why they introduced her in Black Panther film because her story works better for me in contrast to Shuri. I agree. When you say it like that, that makes sense. I understand why they did that, and it's good that she had that experience with Shuri because now she knows that it's possible, and that's why she's trying to do it now in her TV show because she need, you know what I'm saying? So like she wants to get there, but she has to do it in such a unconventional way. Riri being a one in a billion genius means she's not a black stereotype. I mean, yeah, it shows highlighting that most crime is committed because of poverty. She's just broke. It's that simple. She's smart, not rich. Therefore, she doesn't have the resources, connections, or government contracts available to simply turn her ideas into reality like Stark, Stain, Princess Shuri, all that stuff. It's also pretty obvious that Riri would turn on Parker since she's already regretful about working with him to begin with. So the message is that crime doesn't pay. It is enticing and it gets you what you want in the short term, but in the long term you're gonna feel horrible about it, and that's what she has to learn. E- Even if you can convince yourself that you're doing bad things for good reasons. And then the OP says, I can't see how a teen or a younger kid would be able to see the message in the way you are. And I find that they're seeing the message. It doesn't matter how old they are, they're seeing the message. The message is right there. As a black person, it's right there. Or not even a black person. They're just when you're aware of the system, you know that this is just reality. I find it hard to believe this is exactly actually what they wanted to do. There are 100 other ways they could have made her smart but not rich, getting past the resource barrier in her own genius way. She did that at school. She already had almost 100% functional suit, and then at the end of the first episode, one night she makes an AI of her dead friend without billions on a shit laptop because that's what geniuses do. Uh, yeah, to me, it seems to play into the idea that black people sabotage themselves and can't do anything without a little bit of crime, even if they are good. Yikes! But like, Jesus, this dude just doesn't get it. I guess I see similar things in other American media portraying black people, like in Miles Morales. But in this series, it's without the amazing animation, so it gets harder to digest. The animation is what makes you believe the story better. Yikes! mean, because she's a flawed character who learns the error of her ways and goes on to become a hero. She was able to pursue her passions, but then messed up by helping other people cheat. I hate the idea that writers need to be limited to make characters look good at all times. I agree, because they're a minority. Like, that's dumb. Anyone can do dumb shit and make mistakes. Yes. It's not saying the message that no matter how you try, you can't amount to anything. It's showing the real, very real fact that it's rare that someone, Tony Stark in this case, can see their genius and help them. They will have to work harder than those born into privilege. The story isn't over yet. Her lessons haven't been taught or learned. And you can't, in good faith, interrupt someone mid sentence and assume you knew everything they were going to say. Exactly. But you think you know how the story's gonna go, but you literally don't.
800 was yesterday's price. It's a band today.
That's predatory. I built a whole robotic hand. You just corrected the grip algorithm?
And what grade did you get?
Thanks.
Type shit.
That's an iPhone I see.
This is crazy. This is so sad to see, man. Like, it's just insane to have to, like, to see this stuff because, like, there's no way. Wait, it makes sense that people don't know the true reality of what it means to be a black American, right? Especially somebody as a black American who is smarter than usual, right? That doesn't mean that your moral compass is better than everybody else. Your morality and your genius does not intersect. Okay, your morality is on one plane and your geniusness is on another. Okay, you being smart does have nothing to do with the morals. Now, you being smart could inform your morality. Like you can be smart and you can see things and you be like, okay, I'm putting two and two together. Because I put two and two together, that informs that maybe I shouldn't do this thing. But does not mean that the higher your intelligence is, the higher your morality is going to be in terms of being like legally right or whatever, right? Like it's just you're just smart. You just see things better. You put like being smart simply means you can put two and two together. In my opinion, I think being a genius and being smart means you can put two and two together, and you can do something with the fact that you put two and two together. That's it. That's it. That's it. And there's different ways to do that in different career paths, different interests, different hobbies. Everybody is a genius in their own right. You just got to be able to see it for yourself. And like people just don't understand these characters. They just don't understand Riri. It's obvious. It is so obvious. Now that you're looking at all these people talk about it, it's like, okay, people just don't understand what it means to be black in America. They just don't. That's sad. That's really sad. All right, y'all. I'm gonna leave it at this. Um, I hope you guys learned something from this. Hopefully, like I'm hoping that somebody sees this and they're inspired to watch the show and to actually understand and actually look at it from a lens of maybe I just don't understand what it means to be black in America. And it's that simple. Maybe I just don't understand. And because I don't understand, I gotta just take their word for it. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't, because I don't know. I don't have anything, you know what I'm saying? I just don't know what I don't know. And because you don't know what you don't know, you're being presented this in the media, in the medium that you already have been watching for a while. And they're giving you something that you're just not used to. So, and because it's so foreign to you, people get upset. and this is a human thing. You see this in sci-fi shows all the time. When when Earthlings see something they don't understand, they get defensive fast, right? Because they don't know what they don't understand what they're looking at. They don't understand the nuances of what they're looking at, so they get defensive, thinking that it's an attack. You're always in defensive mode because you want to defend the thing that you've been liking for so long. But the thing you've been liking for so long has been giving you the thing that hasn't really given you a new perspective on life. They've just been telling you and rehashing the same stories over and over again because it makes you feel good. You need to engage in other cultures that aren't your own, especially if you're a white man or a white woman. You need to engage in other cultures that aren't your own so you can know, especially in America, especially as an American, you need to engage in cultures that aren't your own because you are going to be on the wrong side of history time and time again. I promise you. So, yeah. I hope everybody learns something from this. I don't know if this video is going to do well at all. It's a 2-hour video, almost 3. So if y'all do, I hope you gain something from it. I hope people go back to this video to like actually like understand like what's going on. It's been a week since this show has been out. It's been 1 full week, and I've gotten damn near 3 hours of content, 3 hours of a video, just going back and forth and looking at this stuff because I think it needs to be talked about. A lot of y'all just don't know black culture the way you think you do. And that's sad, honestly. um also some of y'all don't understand what it means to be a writer as well. Like to write stuff, like to be a fictional writer, there is no one way to write something. There's no one way to write how to be a genius because there's no one way to be a genius in real life. There's multiple ways to be a genius. There's multiple ways to be a smart person. There's multiple ways to engage in the culture that you live in and to engage in the country that you live in. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you watched all the way through, I appreciate you so much. You mean a lot to me, okay? I'm not editing this, so this is all just unedited, unscripted, just going off top of my dome, just looking at the tape. I might do more of these. These are actually kind of fun to do. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of like doing these because it's less of me yapping and more of just like having like when people talk about this type of stuff, you need to be able to be fair. I'm not against being wrong, but like we have to we got to look at it. We got to look at critiques in a try to be as like unbiased as possible. But it's kind of hard to do that when people like we saw in this video, they just didn't watch the show. A lot of these guys who are a lot of these people who are shitting on the show haven't watched it. They just haven't watched. They watched 1 episode and they quit. Barely 1 episode. Barely. They watched maybe 2 minutes and then they quit. So see you guys in the next video. Whatever the next video is, I don't know. I hope this is the start of a great era on my channel. Talking about fucking the MCU again. I might start doing it again. Oh man, the MCU, man. I love the MCU, but the fans, bro. The fans, dude. The MCU fans are they just be annoying. I had this video about Black Panther I wanted to make. I might go back to that actually. Because I was on Twitter and I had this conversation with people about it and they were so adamant that they hated Shuri. And I'm like, what did she do for y'all to hate her this much? I don't know. I'll see you guys. Bye bye.